Uh, Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our third annual U.S. Soccer Disability Soccer Month presented by Degree. My name is Ashley Hammond, and I'm the chairperson for U.S. Soccer's Disability Soccer Committee, as well as the co-founder of CP Soccer. And in collaboration with the Disability Soccer Committee, the Adapt and Thrive Working Group has prepared this and another athlete-focused event on Sunday, the 11th, for you. The Disability Soccer Committee and the Adapt and Thrive Working Group are composed of persons with and without disabilities, striving to impact change and growth for American soccer players of all abilities. Jocelyn.
Thanks, Ash. My name is Jocelyn Bigelow. I am the leader of the Adapt and Thrive Working Group. We are so excited to have you today. A couple housekeeping pieces. First and foremost, we have ASL interpretation available for you at all times. Spotlight on the screen with myself and Ashley Hammond. You may use the chat to interact with our host or in the everyone setting. Please do not hesitate to ask questions and look for support as we go through today's event. In addition, while I don't have a disability myself, I take a lot of pride in what we do here to support the entire disability soccer community. That's persons with and without disabilities participating in professional and athlete roles. Professional development is very near and dear to my heart, so we're really excited to bring this event to you today. Now, before we get into our content, let's talk about the agenda. So we are starting off with introductions. We're going to hear from some really incredible guest speakers. Then we're going to go into an overview of our disability service organizations that are members of U.S. Soccer, as well as the extended national team department with U.S. Soccer. We have a variety of guest speakers today to talk to you about tips and tricks as professionals in the disability soccer community or aspiring professionals if you're currently an athlete. We will also hear about inclusivity for athletes with disabilities beyond the world of disability soccer. We will conclude with an overview of the Adapt and Thrive Working Group, as well as one final guest speaker and a call to action from Ashley Hammond himself. Now, Ash, who do we have first?
Yes, thank you, Jocelyn. We are very proud and happy to welcome the president of U.S. Soccer, fresh back from Qatar. But before Cindy speaks, it is important, I think, for everybody to know that under Cindy's leadership, we have seen the growth of the extended national team from 1 to 5 disability soccer teams. I know that there are more to come. We've also seen significant increases in budget and resources to help the extended national team execute their programming. And at every juncture, when we've asked Cindy for support, she delivers, hence being here tonight, fresh back. I'm sure she's extremely tired, and delivering by example and leading the DEI conversation, which I think is near and dear to all of our hearts. So our first guest speaker, I'd just like to welcome, and very delighted to have the president of U.S. Soccer, Cindy Cohn. Thank you so much for joining us, Cindy.
Thank you, Ashley, and thanks for that introduction. Yeah, I think it's about 4 a.m. for me right now. Just got back from Doha. But, you know, I just wanted to come on and say a couple of things. I know Ashley referred to me and all that I have done for DSOs and ENTs, but I think it's important for everyone to know that it's not just important to me, it's important to everyone at U.S. Soccer. And I think to soccer in this country. You know, we've come such a long way, but I know that there's still a lot more that we need to do. You know, and for me, I want to change the way we think about our sport and shift our thinking to think about soccer as a birthright. You know, my dream, my goal is to make soccer accessible to everyone. And not just accessible, but give them the opportunity to succeed. And succeeding can be defined in however you want to define it. But I know for us to really reach where we want to go, to reach our goals, we need to make sure that everyone that wants to play our game has the ability to play our game, has access to our game, and has opportunity to succeed. So as I said before, you know, there's still a lot of work to do. We are world leaders in the DSO and the ENTs, but I know that we can keep getting better. And I'm going to look to this group specifically to help keep pushing US soccer to keep us at the top of the world and keep striving for higher ground. And I look forward to working with all of you to continue to increase awareness, education, access, coaching, and opportunities to succeed. So, and last but not least, I just want to say thank you really to each and every one of you for all you do for our great game. Some of you play big roles, some of you play small roles. I've been on many teams and played different roles on different teams. And one thing that I know is that every role is important, no matter how big or how small it is. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Cindy, very much. And again, having also been to Qatar in recent weeks, I know how difficult it is to adjust back to American time. So we truly appreciate you jumping in here. And please allow me to introduce our next guest speaker. This person is a member of the board of directors of US Soccer, a former player on the US men's Para 7-a-side team, someone who has boldly been advocating for disability soccer at US Soccer for a long time, someone I like to call as a friend who's always been there for myself and works tirelessly, like I say, advocating for disability soccer. I'd like to welcome Chris Ahrens. Thank you, Chris.
Ashley, thanks for the kind words. It's difficult to follow up my good friend Cindy there. And everything Ashley said about Cindy's true, that she's been a true advocate for us. The first thing I need to highlight and say is just how incredible this group is. I've had the honor of chairing this group, and what I was able to accomplish is not even close to what all of you have been able to accomplish. So as I've been watching from afar, just a genuine thank you and a clap of the hands to you for what you've done as a group. Events like this did not exist. It's really exciting to be on this call and see former teammates getting on, former teammates that are in the grassroots space doing things. That's just, it really warms my heart. I played for 9 years. I've been the chair of the Athlete Council for 6 years. And while I'm really proud of my career on the field, one thing that became clear in my leadership roles is how critical it is to have the larger subgroup of individuals with disabilities to have that voice heard, especially at the highest levels of the organization. So I hope that any athletes that are out there listening would push themselves to step into leadership roles so that they can be the voice for positive change. And it starts with being involved with groups like this. And so again, I'm just really honored to be here. And I'm just really impressed by what the group has been able to accomplish. So thanks to everyone involved, and I'm excited for the rest of the call.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Chris. So we just heard from two incredible people with such massive influence on disability soccer, and we'd like to introduce you to more individuals who are so deserving of recognition for the work they do to help us move the needle on access and inclusion for the game. So to start, let's go to Pascal Roca, a recently hired employee with US Soccer's Extended National Teams Department, the Program Development Manager. Pascal?
Thanks so much, Jocelyn. Hello, everyone. Like Jocelyn said, I am the Program Development Manager for the Extended National Teams within US Soccer. I've been in the role for about a month, so there's a lot that I have to learn, but have been excited about the work that we get to do and spending time with our DSCs, our DSOs, and the Adapt and Thrive Working Group these past couple weeks planning all these events. So I'm really excited to be here and appreciate, all the work that everyone's done to bring everyone together today. Jocelyn, will you push over to that next slide when you have a sec? Awesome, thank you. So just a couple of things about the Extended National Teams in our department. If you don't already know about them, we have 9 national teams, but 5 of them are disability soccer teams. Like Ashley said before, we went from 1 to 5. So we have our men's and women's EP national teams, we have our men's and women's deaf national teams, and then we also have our Power Soccer national team. And we are excited as Power Soccer will kick off in January, and many of our other teams will also have some events coming in January as well. So we're excited about those. We also then have the idea of Adapt and Thrive, which is kind of a movement that we want to push forward this idea that we can grow the games in all of its forms, that we can play the version of soccer in every and any way possible. And so the way that we've grown, adapt, and thrive is one, the working group, which many of them are on this call and you'll hear from them later. Two, we have our Adapt and Thrive Award, which will be announced in January. We're very excited to show you guys the nominees and the finalists this month. And then we also have our Adapt and Thrive Invitational, which will be in March in Chula Vista, California. This is where we'll invite we'll have all of our disability national teams training together in one location, get to connect with each other, get to learn from each other, and see what other things we can do to grow the game. So that's kind of an overview of our department. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to see the great things that are happening. And then our email is also there if you would like any more information. But thank you guys so much, and excited to hear some more information throughout this call.
Thank you, Pascal. And as Pascal correctly pointed out, please see the chat for the website relevant to each speaker's organization. If you wish to learn more, you can go to the chat and take that down. But obviously, we're going to make sure that this presentation goes everywhere. First up, and very excited to introduce someone I also like to call friend from the world of amputee soccer, Eric Lamberg. Welcome, Eric.
Hi, everyone.
One, two, three, USA! Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
So, thank you. Oh, it's going to play again. There we go. So, hi, everyone. My name is Eric Lamberg. I'm the president of American Amputee Soccer Association, and we just wanted you to get a little glimpse of what our sport is about. We provide opportunities for people living with upper or lower limb amputation or limb difference to play soccer and to join a soccer loving community. For those who have lower limb difference, they're able to be a field player. They use one leg and forearm crutches. For those with upper limb difference, they're able to be a goalkeeper. The sport of amputee soccer is very high paced and full of action. It's played on a 3/4 size pitch, 7v7, and currently it's in over 50 countries worldwide. 2022 was pretty eventful for amputee soccer. We participated in the first ever qualifying tournament and finished second along with having the tournament MVP, which allowed us to be one of 3 countries to represent our region at the 24 country amputee World Cup that was held this past October in Istanbul, Turkey. The US presented its strongest team ever compiled, and we were successful in making it out of group stage, and our captain, Nico Calabria, finished the tournament 1 goal off from winning the Golden Boot. Turkey is the current world champions, and the US amputee soccer team is ranked 15th in the world. In addition, this year, we were also very excited to partner with and name Kellen Acosta as our first ever amputee soccer ambassador. Here in the US, we are looking to grow. 2023 is going to be a great year for amputee soccer. For the national team, we plan to have 2 to 3 training events and 1 to 2 international competitions. Domestically, we are building our regional teams. Currently, we have active teams in New England, New York, Houston, Dallas, and LA, with others about to come online in Columbus, Virginia, Chicago, and the Denver regions. All of these developing a pathway for children to be involved and to train. And we are planning our first ever youth development camp. In addition, we are also building our access for women to play. The sport is beginning to grow among women worldwide, and we do not want to be left behind. So we are scheduling our first ever women's only amputee soccer training camp to introduce and grow the sport of amputee soccer. We are actively looking for sponsors, players, coaches, referees, and volunteers. If anyone on this call would like to be a part of our growth, or if you know anyone who would like, please ask them to reach out. We actively reply to all requests on social media and through our websites. And I just want to say thank you to this group and to Adapt and Thrive for giving us the opportunity for all the disabled service organizations to come together to present what each of our sports are about.
Thank you so much, Eric. Love the video, first of all. Second of all, this is the great time to bring up the first time I'm going to tell you this of many times. Please email us at ussoccerdSc@gmail.com. Also in the chat, in the event that you would like to connect with Eric in amputee soccer. We will remind you of this email address many more times during this presentation, as we are having to shift gears a little on how we're managing the technical operation. So I know it's hard to access some of the speakers. We will get you connected. Just shoot us an email. All right, so moving on, we are going to hear from Penny at AYSO, but first, a video.
AYSO VIP is now AYSO Epic. AYSO is excited to announce the rebrand of our renowned VIP program to Epic, standing for Everyone Plays in Our Community. The Epic program will build upon the VIP program foundation, continuing to give players with intellectual and physical challenges the opportunity to play and enjoy the beautiful game. The refreshed brand is designed to remind our communities that AYSO is a place where everyone can play, no matter your ability, with the goal of growing the program across the AYSO world. Making this rebrand even more exciting is to have one of our long-standing partners, Augusta Sportswear Brands, support new and existing programs with resources from uniforms to marketing collateral and grants for program growth and enhancements to spread the word. We invite you to join us in bringing this rebrand to life in your communities, bringing more soccer to more kids, and helping us celebrate the uniqueness of all of our players and volunteers that make AYSO Epic so epic. Visit ayso.org/epic for more information.
Over to you, Penny.
So, hello, I'm Penny Wakefield, and I am a member of the National Board of Directors for AYSO, and I am kind of in charge of the group that has decided to work on rebranding the VIP program. And Epic is really the same program as the VIP program. We just thought it needed some rebranding. We got a group of AYSO volunteers who also happen to be parents of players with disabilities, and brought them together and talked about, what do we need to do? And they came up with the name, which I think goes along perfectly with what Cindy talked about, bringing soccer to every single kid and even adult that wants to play soccer, have access to soccer by, everyone plays in our communities. We want to give that access to every single person who wants to, share in the joy and the love of soccer that all of us on this call do. And giving that ability, we want to, give it a spotlight. So we came up with, just a refresh and a rebrand. And this year at our expos, we are going to highlight Epic with the help of Augusta, and make sure that all of our communities know that we have this to offer to all of our, anybody in the community that wants to do it. And we want to get it out there and hopefully grow the programs. And Augusta, thankfully has helped us with some uniforms, buddy shirts, and funds to help get programs started or actually revitalize programs that are out there. So we're excited to, get more kids playing soccer, whether they have intellectual or physical disabilities. So we're excited about it.
Thank you, Penny. Great video also. Great to have you on board. And we're very excited that AYSO is rebranded. Looks fantastic. Next up, we have Katie Smith with Blind Soccer.
Hi, everyone. I am Katie Smith. I am the Blind Soccer Men's National Team head coach, and I'm just excited to share a little bit more about what we have done here with USABA. So if you could go to the next slide, Jocelyn. Awesome. So USABA has secured support from US Soccer's Federation Innovate to Grow program, which was established in 2017 to help the US Soccer member organizations really launch and innovate programs to grow participation in their markets. In 2022, we have designated building blind soccer sites across the country that are truly making an impact and creating opportunities for youth and adults who are blind and visually impaired. So below our programs here, we have Baltimore, Maryland, which is at the Maryland School for the Blind. That has expanded their program not only to youth, but also adults in a very, very established program. We have Columbus, Ohio, which is where I am located, and we are managing youth and adult teams there and have myself as the head coach and a national athlete. We have Charlotte, North Carolina. This site is managed by our assistant coach, Phil, and it is in conjunction with Charlotte Independent Soccer Club, which is one of the largest state associations in the US. We have Brooklyn, New York, a local partner in New York Association of Blind Athletes, which has been a long time established program. We have Los Angeles, California, partnership with Angel City Sports, the primary adaptive sports group in Southern California, to begin programming in January of 2023. And then finally, for our last Innovate to Grow program, we have Chicago, Illinois, a local partner through the Chicago Park District to hold programming at Curie Metropolitan High School in conjunction with Major League Soccer, Chicago Fire Football Club. So as a part of this just long-term strategic plan of building blind soccer, we are looking to launch additional sites across the country within the next 12 months. This is not only going to increase adoption, growth, participation of the sport across the country, but truly serve as a vital pipeline for player identification and development. As you can also see, we have 500 plus clubs growing every day. We have 15 plus clubs East and West Coast. We just finished with our Play LA, and then we are just very excited to announce that we have named a national team here for blind soccer. So we are excited to see where that will lead.
Thank you so much, Katie. To all of you, you can find links to each DSO as they are being referred to in the chat. I also want to remind you that if you would like to link to a DSO or learn more about any of the topics you hear today, please shoot us an email. In addition, you can send your email address in the chat to Paige Boudre, Matt Downing, or Nathan Mayer, and they will help collect your email addresses for us to do a follow-up after the call. Moving on, we have Mr. Ashley Hammond wearing multiple hats this evening. Ashley?
Thank you, Jocelyn. And tonight's event obviously was labeled as a coaches event, and so I'm going to focus a little bit about on coaches as well. And many years ago, we heard these words: "Your son has had a stroke, likely in utero," and that was 16 years ago. And the journey that we were on with our son Shay at the time took an unexpected left turn when we heard those words. Cerebral palsy, stroke, or traumatic brain injury are the injuries that make you eligible for CP soccer as we know it at the club level. And at the highest level, it's referred to as para 7-a-side men's soccer or para 5-a-side women's soccer. Fast forward to 2017, and with our partners, the Hallowell family, we created CP Soccer. And from 8 players in North New Jersey, we now train hundreds of CP soccer players across the country. And if you have our slide there, you'll see some of the cities that we train in currently. I know it's on our slide there somewhere when it comes up. And I know I've been joined by a bunch of our friends from around the country. So what do we do So what do we want you to do as coaches? As I said, I wanted to focus as much on coaches. There we have our list. Currently, we're in New Jersey, we're in New York, Richmond, Virginia, California, Ohio, Clemson, South Carolina, our good friends in Texas, Houston, Dallas, and Maryland and Arizona, and ever growing. We survey most of our CP soccer families, and a familiar number emerges from most all of them. Athletes with CP, stroke, and traumatic brain injury, TBI, are typically leaving able-bodied soccer for good in and around the age of 7 to 9 if they ever join. Really only players with exceptional coaches and teams and players with mild impact stay in able-bodied soccer. The vast majority of players in our sport leave mainstream soccer for good, like I say, if they've ever joined. We want this to change. We believe this can change, and that's why we're putting on a coaches event to hopefully give you some information. We want you to know that chances are any athlete that you come across with a disability likely has an organization like ours that you can also that they can also compete in as well. That's why we're introducing you to all these organizations. Throughout this presentation, you will see this. Make sure you email us. I can't stress that enough. If you see an athlete, if you know of an athlete, please let us know. So what do we want from you? We want you to make your training sessions a safe, emotional environment. Very few kids with cerebral palsy avoid staring and worse, bullying or ridicule at some point in their life, much like most kids with a disability. For kids who show up at a training session with able-bodied kids, they're putting themselves out there. And we need you to make sure that you create safe, emotional environments for kids or athletes with disability. You get to control that training environment, and your athletes need to know that they can attend and be supported at those training sessions without fear of bullying or ridicule. Treat our athletes like everyone else, but understand that there are some things that they simply might struggle with. In our sport, CP soccer, balance for sure is one of them. One or other of the arms or legs will likely be affected, and this may make the execution of some skills more difficult. Turning and the use of one or both feet will almost definitely be impacted. Stretching will likely be more difficult for players with CP. In our presentation this weekend, we're going to go over some very specific stretches that players with CP can do that will help them. And so we hope you join us this weekend also. If in doubt, ask your athlete, what do they do in PT? Almost every athlete will be doing PT of some description. And these are great additions to your repertoire for our athletes. By being on this call, you are halfway there just by showing up. We want you to go have some fun with our athletes, make a safe, fun, emotional environment for them. And remember, we want to meet any athlete that you come across with a disability, not just CP, but any athlete. We thank you so much for showing up and supporting us. And let's go CP soccer.
Thank you, Ashley. Now, we've heard about a lot of DSOs, but there are more. We aim to serve as many disability categories as we can through US Soccer's disability service organizations. The next group we're going to hear from is Deaf Soccer. Suzanne Anderson, take it away.
There we go. So glad.
Suzanne, you're on mute. My apologies. There you go.
I'm unmuted now, I think. Jocelyn, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you to the committee for having us. This is a great event and really appreciate it. I wanted to share a little bit about how the structure of Deaf Soccer and how we are integrated as part of a larger international group. You know, Deaf Soccer is very much like the Olympic movement in terms of how it is structured. There is a Deaf Sport Federation with 32 Deaf Olympic sports that are a part of that. There's an international body that is the world governing body for Deaf Soccer. There's 116 countries participating as part of that organization. So as the incredible part of Deaf Soccer is that there's been international level competition since 1929. And the United States has been sending teams since 1935, but US Deaf Soccer didn't become into official existence until 1995. And so if I could get to the next slide, that'd be great. Exactly. Our focus has been on making sure that we have an opportunity to send deaf players to both national and international competitions. Our women just came back from Brazil from the Deaf Olympics with a gold medal, which was very hard fought. So we're real proud of them and the men competing in these games. Where we're focused on right now is on shifting gears. Our organization is now an ENT. We're starting to build from the youth level up. And so what we're looking for are grassroots opportunities for development. Our athletes have a certain hearing loss level that are part of becoming a deaf player. And they're not allowed to wear hearing devices such as hearing aids or cochlear implants during competitions. When I first came on board, one of the first things I did was go to a national training camp, and the players asked one of the coaches, equipment on or off, and I was like, well, what equipment are we talking about? And she said off, and over they went, taking out their hearing aids and cochlear implants, and came back, and I got to watch some of the most amazing soccer I've ever seen. What makes our players possible for integration is the fact the only thing that is different from playing soccer, we play by FIFA rules, 11-a-side, is that the referee uses a flag instead of a whistle, which makes sense. So there's a lot of visual cues on the field. So what's next with our ENT, since we've been very, very focused on becoming an ENT, is now developing those relationships with associations, with state associations, youth associations, club teams, because we need to identify our players currently. There are 13 million folks 12 and up who have hearing loss. So the opportunity for us to start to build from the grassroots up is tremendous. So look for a lot more to come from Deaf Soccer going forward. Thank you.
Suzanne,
yeah.
Suzanne, thank you so much. Wonderful. And again, for those of you that I didn't miss it, but the addition of USA, the Deaf program to the extended national team, I think is significant and fantastic. And Suzanne, thank you. Next up, from actually out in Colorado, based in England, actually, two of my favorite Arsenal fans, I would just like to welcome from Down Syndrome Soccer, Kelly Trevor. Hello, Kelly. I know you're stateside.
Hi, Ashley, and thank you for inviting us. My name's Kelly Trevor, and I handle the funding and development for Down Syndrome Sports of America. And on behalf of DSSA, we're delighted to be here again this year. It's our second attendance, and I believe this is the third annual Disability Soccer Month. And we also look forward to becoming full U.S. soccer members as a disability organization in 2023. Down Syndrome Sports of America, in our Down Syndrome Soccer Group, is a nonprofit based in Delaware. We have 501c3 status, and we are growing our membership. We play soccer and futsal, and we welcome anyone with Down syndrome who is keen to play soccer and futsal. We're the first organization of its kind in the US in offering a pathway for aspiring athletes with Down syndrome that aim to represent the USA in national US Down syndrome soccer competitions. In order to fulfill our mission, we are working on changing a mindset to ensure that potential athletes can access the real opportunities that are out there. Globally, there's a network of Down syndrome sports competitions, including futsal, and the US has yet to participate, and our goal is to change that. I was delighted to hear what Cindy Parlow-Cohn said earlier, because it echoes our sentiments that soccer is accessible to anyone with opportunities to succeed. So we're a new organization, and the highlights we can focus on from 2022 include: we recruited a coaching team and technical advisor, thanks to being introduced through Ashley Hammond to some of the team that we have on board now. We've held our first residential identification and development camp at Golden Goals Soccer Camp in New York in June. We are about to host our second identification and development camp in Longmont, Colorado, starting tomorrow. And we've partnered with the Longmont YMCA and Colorado Ignite Soccer Club. And we're really excited about the players arriving tomorrow. We are building the US Down syndrome soccer pathway and looking to build a team for upcoming competitions. Like any other organization within this group, we are working our socks off, expanding our network of athletes, coaches, and supporters. We're partnering with community organizations, as we have done for the camp that we're starting tomorrow. And we're also have been working on our fundraising efforts to enable people to access the program. We also aim to set up hubs around the country where athletes can access the kind of training needed to become more competitive in the global Down syndrome sports network. Looking forward, upcoming competitions include the Sports Union for Down Syndrome is hosting a futsal event in Italy in September 2023. The Copa US America futsal competition will be held in Brazil, I believe, in November 2023. And the FIFDS, which is the Down Syndrome World Cup, is being hosted in Turkey in 2024. And we aim to have the first US teams competing in each of those events. So please get involved. We call on anyone who may know of any aspiring athletes with Down syndrome, coaches who might be interested in supporting our players, or anyone else who wants to get involved in making Down syndrome soccer a success. We need more doers to reach our goals. So please send anyone to any of our team, including to myself or to our website, to find out more information. And of course, follow us on social media. We run both a Facebook and an Instagram thread. I'll wrap up. We have a very short video from our summer camp at Golden Goals. And I think when you watch it, you'll see that it sums up the energy and excitement that is fast becoming the US Down syndrome soccer scene. Thank you to the Adapt and Thrive group for welcoming US Down syndrome soccer. And thanks for the opportunity tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. That was I Love DSSA. Thank you, Kelly, and Down syndrome soccer. Let's hear now from Zach Shattuck with Dwarf Soccer.
Hi, everybody. My name is Zach Shattuck, and I am the Executive Director of Dwarf Soccer and a current member on the team. I'm super honored to be here tonight amongst all of these absolutely amazing people, and have to give a huge shout out to Adapt and Thrive for putting on this amazing event. Like many organizations here, athletes with dwarfism, are coming up from a sort of tougher past. Everyone here has had their own challenges, and these disability soccer organizations are allowing athletes to be able to compete at this high level, and it's amazing. Dwarf soccer is designed and created for anyone that has dwarfism. Someone with dwarfism is a genetic condition resulting in you being born under 4 feet 10 inches by law or by written state. And we play both soccer and futsal, 7v7 normally, depending on the year. And we've played, most recently, I came back from Colombia like 1 week ago, where we played in an 8-team international tournament. And this is our third tournament that we played down in South America. For coaches, like Ashley was saying, just the opportunity is the biggest thing that you can provide these young athletes. Giving them a chance. A lot of these athletes, like especially with dwarfism, they can't compete with their able-bodied teammates after about the age of 8, 9, 10, because the level of play increases and their size makes for a harder time to adapt to the field of play. But at USDFA, we're really trying to create those opportunities to give them a chance to compete on a national and global stage where they're competitive and the field of play is leveled. And so we're super honored to sort of be starting and involved in this movement. And like Down syndrome soccer, we're hoping to join the national team status and going into 2023 and continue to open our recruiting process. We plan to have several ID camps throughout the country in 2023, as well as attend our first World Cup in Argentina in the end of 2023. So thank you again to everyone involved. Please check out our website. And if there's anyone interested in sponsoring or donating, please get in contact with us. We want to reach out to as many people as we can and reach out to any of the disability organizations as well, because everyone here is amazing, and you won't, it's the right choice. So thank you.
Zach, thank you so much. Before we move on to the next person, just a slight bit off script as I was looking through the participants. When I was out in Qatar, I know that the American Outlaws were there in force and in presence, and a wonderful organization, the American Outlaws. And I see them here, Donald Wine, the president of American Outlaws. We thank you so much for your support. This is not the first time. In fact, it's been many times American Outlaws have supported us. So welcome, Donald. Unfortunately, we don't have time for you to speak tonight, but I just want to make sure I recognize your presence. And thank you so much for attending a U.S. soccer event, as you do so well around the world. Moving forward, Nathan Maya, Power Soccer, a good friend of mine who I love to spend time with. And Power Soccer, Nathan Maya, sorry.
Hey, everyone. Thank you, Ash, for that. My name is Nathan Mayer, and I am the Executive Vice President of the U.S. Power Soccer Association, and also a member of the U.S. national team for Power Soccer. Next slide, please. So, Power Soccer, what makes it unique from the other games that are on this call, can be described on this slide here. As I mentioned, I'm the VP of the USPSA, and I am one of 7 members on our board. And the cool thing about our board at this moment is that we are all an athlete in Power Soccer. That is the first time that has happened in our association, so that's really cool. What Power Soccer is it's the first competitive team sport for people that use power wheelchairs. So it can be any gender and pretty much any age, as long as you are 5 years or older, which is a cool picture on the bottom left. A little girl started out playing soccer all the way up until the World Cup, which is the picture on the right. And the disabilities can range from anywhere from quadriplegia to MS to muscular dystrophy. As long as you need a power chair at some point, you are eligible to play Power Soccer. So what is Power Soccer? Power Soccer is played on a basketball court, just a standard sized court. It's a 4-on-4 game, so it's similar to futsal in that regards, and we play 2 20-minute halves. Now, typically, most of our athletes, they use a separate sport chair from their everyday chair, and most of the competitive athletes, especially at the international level, uses a chair called the Strike Force, which is specifically designed for Power Soccer, and it has really revolutionized the game. We put a foot guard on the front of our chairs, that way the players don't roll on top of the ball, but then the athletes can use any part of their chairs to manipulate the ball. Our ball is about 13 inches in size, so it's about double the size of a regular soccer ball, but it's about 13 inches. Now, these last 2 points are the main rule differences in Power Soccer. We have the 2-on-1 rule, so you cannot have 2 defenders on 1 offender. And then the 3 in the box rule. So you can't have 3 defenders inside the box. Both of these rules would result in an indirect free kick, based off of the referee's discretion. So that's a little bit about what power soccer is. Our national team is recently a part of the extended national team program as of February of this year. And as Pascal mentioned, we have our first training camp coming up here in January. Our national team is a two-time World Cup champion, and we're looking to get the World Cup trophy back in October when we travel to Sydney, Australia for our World Cup in 2023. So yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for all the support. And go Power Soccer.
Go Power Soccer. Thank you, Nathan. All right, and for our final DSO, David Robinson, tell us a little bit about Top Soccer.
Dave, you're on mute. Sorry.
How's this sound?
Got you now, David.
All right, great. Sorry for that. Thanks, Jocelyn, and hello, everybody. I'm Dave Robinson, and I'm very proud to serve as the chair of the USU Soccer Top Soccer Committee. I've been involved with Top Soccer personally for over 15 years, and it's truly a labor of love for me. It is radically changed my life for the better. And I suspect if those of you watching or listening tonight, if you would start getting involved, if you are involved, you would probably echo that it's changed your life as well. So I encourage everyone to follow up. Top Soccer is a recreational sports program for children and adults with intellectual, emotional, or physical disabilities that's offered through local USU Soccer affiliates. Top Soccer provides people with special needs an opportunity to play soccer in a uniquely structured environment that's safe, fun, supportive, and inclusive. Basically, there are no limitations on the nature of the disability of athletes that participate in the program. As you can see by the photo, we have players who participate in wheelchairs, players with Down syndrome, players with autism spectrum disorders or ADHD, most of the time often combined on the same field complex and participating in the same program at the same time. Throughout the United States, it's offered by over 400 soccer clubs. We have almost 10,000 soccer players registered. Certainly with COVID, we took a hit like many of you sports did. So we're building back up our numbers over time. Top Soccer was started over 30 years ago, and it's really grown throughout almost all 50 states in the US. Our focus with Top Soccer for all participants is on safety first, having fun, having a good time, and participating into learning more new and more soccer skills. From an age perspective, the minimum age is roughly 4 years old. Some programs raise that a little bit. But the great news is there is no upper age limit to the program. We have players who participate in Top Soccer across the country in their 50s, in their 60s and 70s. And it's amazing to offer these people who are traditionally, left on the sideline or left out to participate in the sport that we all love and we all have a passion for. Most Top Soccer programs meet once a week, where they combine warm-ups, soccer-based activities, and scrimmages. And one of the truly unique aspects of Top Soccer is the long-standing, foundational element of using volunteer buddies. Volunteer buddies are usually high school or college students who are neurotypical, who are assigned one-on-one with players to ensure their safety, enhance their skills, boost their confidence, and what oftentimes happens is creating lifelong friendships and memories. From a professional development standpoint, we do offer a formal coaching certificate course, and we also offer standardized buddy training modules to make sure that the volunteer buddies understand the nature of the disabilities and are interacting and engaging with their players as effectively as possible. You see there's the website for Top Soccer amongst the USU Soccer program. We do have a map and a state-by-state listing and direct links to find local programs, the state associations in your area. And I strongly encourage all of you to consider helping volunteer and participate in a Top Soccer program near you. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dave. All right, so we have heard from all of our DSOs. We're now going to launch into the next section and get some tips and tricks for you as professionals and aspiring leaders in the disability soccer community. We launched this year the Adapt and Thrive Ambassadors, an athlete nominated by each DSO to be a voice for and represent their disability service organization. We're going to start with Ricky Castaneda. Ricky is going to speak to you about his experience as an athlete in blind soccer and offer some tips and tricks to professionals. Go ahead, Ricky.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Ricky. I'm a USABA ambassador. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I'm 22 years old, and I'm currently on the USA national team that has been recently announced. In the 5 years I've been doing blind soccer, I found that it's very orientational, especially for us blind people. One of the best, I guess, tips I can give to athletes that are trying to get into blind soccer or are doing blind soccer is put as many touches as you can on the ball. And by touches, I mean hours and minutes and days and months, of course. We're just looking for control and how you can keep the ball with you at all times. Some of the professionals that I kind of look up to now are my coaches, such as Katie Smith as my head coach, which you heard about her. She's amazing. She is a understandable O&M and / vision teacher. She is certified, I believe, in teaching the blind in O&M. And some tips and tricks for coaches and refs and stuff like that. Just keep your eyes open. Of course, us players, we're blind and we use sound as everything. So keeping those eyes open and making sure that players are safe and confident in where they're at in space. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ricky. So please heed the advice of our athletes and their experience. Some of them share in the coaching role as well and other professional roles, one of which is Mia White, one of our deaf soccer Adapt and Thrive ambassadors. Mia White is going to speak to us today about including athletes with disabilities within and beyond the disability soccer community. So please welcome Mia. We're getting Daisy unmuted. 1 second, Mia.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mia White, and I am on the US Deaf soccer team and have been for the last couple of years. I am the Adapt and Thrive ambassador, like what was mentioned. But I wanted to talk about, disabilities really kind of range for every different person. I do want to explain, first off, the deaf spectrum that I have put on here. We use that word in a way of trying to be inclusive, saying deaf, a person who is deaf. It could be a person who can speak and doesn't sign at all. It can be someone who doesn't speak and signs incredibly well, or kind of anywhere on the spectrum of that, whether it be someone who uses hearing aids or cochlear implants. There's a lot of variation in that, so I wanted to explain deaf spectrum. So with my experience, I was 14 when I first got that on the field experience with soccer, and it felt not necessarily inclusive at that moment. And when I went to college, it finally kind of clicked going, oh, that's what inclusivity looks like when it comes to soccer. So for warm-ups, typically we had a stretching section and they would all line up in just a straight line and do these stretches. But it was kind of hard to catch what anyone was saying because of that formation. Everyone kind of talked over one another and I didn't catch pretty much any of it. And so we kind of came up with an idea of how to improve this as a team. And we changed from doing that in a line to it going in a circle. That way I can actually see everyone and, you know, it felt a little bit more inclusive. And that was such an impact for me. And it was a really simple change that made it so much more accessible for me. Also, you know, just making sure on the current US Deaf women's soccer team that we are all included as well. You know, it doesn't matter if you've joined the team from a while ago, but I noticed that as we were going through practices, and like we had mentioned before, you can't have any equipment, hearing aids, cochlear implants, nothing like that while we're going through all of the actual practices. And I remember one time there was a lot of players who hadn't become very fluent in ASL yet. They were still learning, and having to be forced to use an interpreter in the situation when getting direction from a coach or someone who was talking, it was hard to have them included because they might not have the access to the language that the ASL interpreter was using. I mean, me as someone who knows ASL, I could look at the interpreter and know what was going on compared to some of these other players who couldn't. And so we had talked to the Adapt and Thrive coaches and whatnot, trying to become a little bit more inclusive, using some tactile examples and whatnot. And because, like I said, the deaf spectrum, there are so many people with different backgrounds and understandings and language needs. You know, with any scrimmages and whatnot, obviously we have to follow the rules of taking off all of our equipment and whatnot, but kind of learning to adapt to different situations and just having that as an example, it makes a very huge impact on all of us players. So for coaches and refs and, you know, anyone who wants to be included and whatnot, you know, these are adaptations that can happen over time. It doesn't have to be a once and done. This is what works. Work with your players, connect with your players, get creative and be patient. You know, that's kind of the point. You want to, it takes time to make those adaptions and you know, definitely try to work on that, and you can have great results with your athletes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mia, and thank you so much for focusing on helping coaches help players. We appreciate that. Our next speaker, Riley Johnson with Power Soccer. Riley, thank you.
Hey, I'm Riley. I've played Power Soccer for almost 20 years now. I've also coached at soccer camps, and I serve on the executive board for the US Power Soccer Association. So I've seen Power Soccer from a lot of varying different perspectives. I think one of the most important things that you can teach someone with a disability is self-advocacy, because in the professional world, no one is going to be more effective of an advocate than yourself. And I think it's important that coaches encourage the athletes to practice this self-advocacy, because it's a skill that they can take wherever they go. It does so much for helping those with disabilities learn to be more independent. And that is a benefit to everybody, not just the athletes. So even if you're not a coach or directly work with the athletes, maybe you're a referee or have an administrative type role, your job is equally important because it allows this opportunity to exist. So regardless of what you do, thank you for what you do. Thanks.
Riley, thank you so much. And Joss, I don't know about you, but I'm learning a great deal. And I love that tip from Riley Johnson there about advocacy. And talking to Jocelyn, you are now going to share some of the tangible progress from the group.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Riley. My name is Jocelyn, as I've said before, leading the Adapt and Thrive Working Group, which was born out of having this National Disability Soccer Committee formed or composed of disability service organization leaders. They're pretty busy people. We have a combination of things that need to get done, and we have young leaders who want to have a bigger impact and help move the needle in disability soccer. So from those two things came the Adapt and Thrive Working Group to better serve the Disability Soccer Committee. We have aspiring leaders. 85% of our group are athletes with disabilities who are former players with the DSOs or current national team members. And we have representation or affiliation with all of the DSOs on our group. We conduct a census every year. This is year 2. In 2021, we saw that our DSOs served over 19,000 athletes, which is a pretty big deal considering we were coming out of the pandemic. We also have over 350 disability service organizations affiliated with the U.S. Soccer, Disability Soccer Committee and U.S. Soccer. But there are over 800 non-U.S. Soccer member groups out there serving athletes who want to play soccer with disabilities. We have 9 DSOs or disability service organizations pending the annual general meeting in 2023, adding on our friends at Down Syndrome Soccer and Dwarf Soccer. Blind Soccer joined us last year, and the others you heard from have been DSOs for a longer amount of time. The 2 things we want to share with you this year and make sure that you have these are the modern language document and our interactive map. First, I'd like to introduce you to our modern language document. When you put your email in the chat, you'll have access to all of this. This is a piece of work that we aim to publish in alignment with U.S. Soccer to support professionals like yourselves to speak with modern language around athletes with disabilities. So when you have access to this document, you'll be able to access the do's and do nots of language. So please consider putting your email in the chat for any one of us hosts or co-hosts. We will collect it, put it together. We owe a big thank you to Josh Pate, as he is a big leader in the modern language space for disability soccer. In addition to the modern language document, we have our interactive map. This will be available when you put your email in the chat and we follow up. This map highlights all the different areas that we have disability soccer. If you're joining us from a disability soccer organization and you do not see yourself on here, approach us with love and respect and let us know you need to be added. We're so excited to help share the good news about what our disability soccer organizations are doing. So shoot us an email at ussoccerdSC@gmail.com if you'd like to be added. We will present updates at each annual Disability Soccer Month happening in December of every year. And that is it. The Adapt and Thrive Working Group is here to serve you. We are putting out products that are meant to make your life a little bit easier as professionals and athletes. Now, moving on, Ashley.
Thank you, Jocelyn, and thank you, Thomas and Matt, for doing the map, which I think looks fantastic. Lots and lots of tags on there. Our last speaker of the evening, a young man representing AYSO Epic, Dashiell Meyer. Hello, Dashiell. Beautiful name.
First off, thank you. As mentioned before, my name is Dashiell Meyer. I'm 18 years old, and I'm the goalie for the Green Giants soccer team in Palo Alto, California. Our biggest game of the year is a face-off with Stanford men's team. And so far, we have won 14 games. I know, pretty amazing. I started playing soccer when I was 6 years old. My inspiration to play soccer came from my dad. Because when I was younger, I used to go watch his games. Since my dad is one of the coaches from my team, I'm a big fan of our coaches. They are confident in the players. They communicate well. They know the needs of the kids and try to form the drills in a way that benefits everyone, besides our own coaches. We get to learn from the Stanford men's team. Coach Jeremy Gunn, and I assume you already know who he is, and his players run warm-up and drills. It's fun to learn from really excellent players. Some advice I have for coaches and rising coaches is to have a lot of volunteers, because it's hard to manage so many kids. Many need help following directions and working on skills. Volunteers can be siblings who also want to play, high school or college kids, scouts, parents, and other members of the community. Have the practices with the same format every week, so the players know what to expect. We do mostly the same warm-ups and drills each practice, so the players know what's coming up next. The most important things about being a coach are to have good energy and respect your players. Don't treat us like younger kids. Someday, I hope to coach my team, so when my dad steps down, I'll be able to carry on what he started. Thank you for supporting Epic Soccer.
Thank you so much, Dashel. That was a wonderful speech. Thank you to all of our ambassadors. If you'd like to learn more and follow their story, please follow US Soccer ENT on Instagram, on Facebook, find us on LinkedIn. Their profiles and more are going to be posted in the coming weeks as we celebrate Disability Soccer Month. Over to you, Ash.
Thank you, Dashel. That was amazing. Thank you, Jocelyn. And as we wrap up here, I would first of all like to thank our interpreters, our guests, members of the Disability Soccer Committee and the Adapt and Thrive Working Group. I think the message is pretty clear, right? We need to create safe, productive, safe environments for our athletes, and they will flourish. And like I said before, showing up tonight shows everybody's halfway here. We saw 2 disability teams become world champions this year, women's deaf national team and the para women's 5-a-side national team. The men's para 7-a-side team had the best ever finish in the World Cup, and CP Soccer won the World Club Championship in Barcelona. All of our other groups are doing so much, and to have the first ever blind national team is another seismic movement in our world. We need you. We need to help us identify athletes. We need that. And again, thank you so much to everybody, but I would like to thank very specifically one person for me stands above everybody tonight, and that is Jocelyn Bigelow. We owe a debt of gratitude to her. She has worked tirelessly to put tonight on with Pascal, and we thank you so much for attending. We thank her for her enormous work in this. And I want to just say, please show up on Sunday. Our player event is going to be so much fun. Thank you to everybody for putting tonight together. It is always a pleasure. And I think we will make sure that this presentation is spread far and wide to the 5 million members via email to all of our member groups, and ensure that everyone gets to see our amazing disability soccer organizations. Myself and Jocelyn will stay on afterwards if anybody wants to casually hang out, ask questions. Thank you to everybody for showing up. We'll see you on Sunday, 3 o'clock Eastern time, and let's play some soccer.